Guys, this is teacher Luis Villalba. Today we're going to talk about comparative and superlatives. Just to let you know before we start, I'm not a native speaker of the language. My first language is Spanish, and if I make a mistake, I do apologize beforehand in terms of pronunciation or probably might be a grammar mistake that I may do or make. So now, besides that, there's another issue over here. There are a lot of noise around, cars passing by, people talking around, and insects doing noise, even dogs barking in the corner. I do apologize. I tried to make this video with the less noise possible, but it's kind of hard. I need to have like a studio with a permanent silent, but I don't have it, so I do apologize because of that. So let's begin. As you can see, we will talk about comparative and superlative adjective. So we will find out what's that about. So this is a class designed for 5th grade, and you can also use it if you want to learn how to compare a thing to another, or in other words, a noun to another noun. So just please pay attention if you want to learn this lesson. This and the first thing we're going to do is a tongue twister that may take 5 minutes. This is going to be only in a real class. If we are face to face, probably may take a minute. And I mean, you and the computer on your mobile phone, me here in front of my computer, doing the tongue twister with you. Probably may take 1 minute, but in a group of students, probably may take 5 to 10 minutes. So the second thing, besides the tongue twister, I would do explanation of the topics. Probably may take 15 to 20 minutes or 25 minutes. That is an estimate, and then we would have a moment for the question for 5 minutes. If you have any question, please type it below, and I will answer them. If it was like a real class, I will definitely help my students with the questions. But as we are not face to face, it's not going to be possible in this video. But once I explain the lesson, I'm sure that it will be possible. So once I clarify any doubt that you may have in your mind, we will go through to the instructions so we can do our activities. And these activities, they have an estimated time to be completed. For example, the first activity will last 10 minutes, second activity 15 minutes, and the third activity 15 minutes. At the end, very end, I will discuss some final detail for the following class, which we are going to have a kind of speech. You will present something to me, but I will let you know at the end. So let's go on. So let's begin with the tongue twister. As you can see, the red one, good, is an adjective, better is a superlative in orange, and best in purple is a superlative. So we will read it slowly first, and then we will do it faster 5 times, right? So let me try first. Good, better, best, and never let it rest until your good is better and your better best. Good, better, best, and never let it rest until your good is better and your better best. Good, better, best, never let it rest until your good is better and your better best. I will try to do it a little bit faster right now. Good, better, best, never let it rest until your good is better and your better best. Good, better, best, never let it rest until your good is better and your better best. Um, Sometimes sounds for other people nice to speak fast, right? but if you speak slow, it doesn't mean that you don't know. So if you speak slow, you can do it. Just try to do it faster. I haven't heard myself saying this like faster to see how I do it. But if we are first learning to speak, my advice is to do it slowly. Probably whenever you get the high intermediate or high advanced level in speaking, you can try to do it faster if you want. But my advice is to speak slowly so you can be understood. So let's move on. Let's see what we have next. So here we have the explanation of the topic. We will first going to start to understand what is a comparative and a superlative. So let's see what we have. Comparative. Comparative are normally used to compare two nouns. Nouns can be people, objects, animals, countries, language, nationalities. So nouns can be anything. Well, except for adjective, verb, and other stuff, but that doesn't come to the point. So it can be basically a noun is basically of what we are talking about. Let's say we talk about Spanish is a difficult subject for English people. So that's a noun, Spanish. So the noun is what we talk about, or who perform the action, or whom we are describing, or what we are describing. So whenever we talk about the superlative, the a little bit different from comparative, because in this case they are used to compare more than two nouns. In other words, superlative are commonly used to compare more than two nouns, but that will be one noun with more than one noun. For example, if you can see over here the lion is the wildest animal in the jungle, let's say. So it's the wildest. And if we talk about the elephant is the biggest animal in the jungle, let's say. So if we want to compare two things, we can do it as well. And in the picture or photo that is shown over here, that talks about over here about this lady over here. If we compare it with this, we can say, let's have her name, let's call her Samantha. Samantha is taller than Maria. And if we have Maria, we can say Maria is shorter than Samantha, right? We can use it to compare two things, right? So in order to do so, we need to learn first how to spell the adjective, the comparative adjective and superlative adjective. And we need to know the rules. So we are going to do this step by step. So let's move on. Tips. So I have some tips over here for you. Alright, how you don't get dizzy with this. Little laser over there. So whenever we form comparative, we usually add er to the adjective. Remember, as you can see, we are using colors to identify easier what we're doing. So comparative will be in orange. The spelling might be in a different color, can be in green, red. So just pay attention and remember the adjective you're gonna use. For the adjective you're going to use the red color. Probably over there looks like an orange, but it's not. So let's begin. We have some example for the comparative. We have tall is the adjective. If we want to turn into comparative, we add er, taller. And if we want to turn the adjective short into a comparative, we add er and it becomes shorter. And if we want to make fast the comparative, we add er and it becomes faster. So in order to turn an adjective, remember the adjectives are going to be in which color? Yes, red. They are going to be in red. So in order to turn an adjective into a superlative, we just add est to the adjective. So tall becomes tallest, short becomes shortest, and fast becomes fastest. So that's what we have so far over here. So if you got this, you will understand what comes next. So please pay close attention to the spelling of the words we're going to be using here for the comparative and superlative. This at the bottom is an example of a superlative, right? And just look how it looks. We have the adjective over here, and then we add the must over here. But I will explain that a little later. I just leave it over there so you can be wondering what is that thing doing over there. Those words are doing over there. So let's begin. Rule number 1. This will apply for both comparative and superlative. Just remember that the spelling may vary according to what we want to get at the end. So we have over here, if one syllable adjective ending is a silent E, what are we going to do? We will add an R or ST. An R will be for the comparative and an ST will be for the superlative. Just pay attention to the colors and also to the example. So for comparative we have nice, that's an adjective, but it has a silent E that is in a pink color. That means that we will add an R in front of the adjective to turn it into a comparative. Nice becomes nicer. And if we want to make it a superlative, we just simply add st and become nicest. So that's rule number 1. Everything is there is with color so you can easily understand this. So let's move on. Rule number 2. If one syllable adjective ending is formed of a consonant, vowel consonant, double the last consonant and add er. I missed to add ed over here. I apologize for that. So you will have the correct slides later. Okay, a little bit updated. I apologize for this. So let me fix it right quick over here. So give me a second, just a quick second over here. And let's see over here. We'll just over here again. Receipt. We're gonna do it again. I apologize for this. It's form. I will explain that rule to you again. Okay. Some very soon whenever we see the simple, that would be like a type of passive, a different type of words. It's a grammatical rule, but I will teach later. So Let's continue. If one syllable adjective ending is formed of a consonant, vowel consonant, we would double the last consonant and add er or est to that comparative or superlative. If it's a comparative, remember, I will try to make myself clear. If, if we have an adjective like this one over here, let me have the puntero, the last over here. We have over here, this is an adjective of only one syllable, right? And this is, in that one is form of a consonant, a vowel, and a consonant. What does it mean? It means that we will double the last consonant. Double the last consonant means that you will add another consonant similar to the last one. So we have a G and then we add another G. That's in a blue color so you can see it. And we add ER because we want to form what? A comparative. If we want to form or create a superlative, simple, follow the same steps, we just add est. In this case, it must be a different color over here, but it's understood, right? Biggest. So let's continue, right? Rule number 3. Apologize for the mistake that you probably may see over there. It has been a hard job to do this. This slide. This slide takes a lot of time. So it took me 2 days to do everything without mistakes. And you saw a mistake over here. I apologize because of that. So well, let's continue. Don't let us not hesitate and be sad. So in rule number 3, if two syllable adjective ending is y, turn into I and add er or est. Probably you're gonna be saying, what is that? What we have to do here? I will explain you with examples. We have two syllables over here, happy, right? Happy, but it ends in y. So whenever a two-syllable adjective ends in y, we remove that y, take it out, drop it out, whatever you want. You just eliminate that y, and then you will add I. That I in yellow, you're going to add it in front of the last consonant, the happy. That will be I, and then you will add er, happier. And if you want to turn it into superlative, easy, you just add est. So remember, for both comparative and superlative, we just remove y and add I, and then add est for the superlative and er to the comparative. So that one is an easy one. I like it. An easy one. So let's continue. Rule number 4. Add more or the most if two or more syllable adjective does not end in y at the end. So what are we going to do? If that syllable has more than two, if that adjective has more than two syllables and does not end in y, we are going to simply add more before or behind the adjective for comparative. For example, you have the adjective expensive over here. So what we do, we add more before or behind the adjective expensive, and that becomes a comparative, more expensive. And if we want to do it, if we want to do superlative, just add the most, and then the adjective, the most expensive, the most beautiful. So that's how we do it for the comparative. The end superlative has more than two adjectives. So let's continue. Rule number 5. That's my favorite one. If the adjective does not follow any of the conditions before, we're just going to add er or est to the adjective. For example, quick become quicker for comparative, and for superlative, quickest, as well as the example that you saw earlier, like tallest, faster, shorter. We will see a lot more adjective very soon, so just pay attention to them. Exceptions: for good, we're going to say, in comparative, we will say better. For bad, we will see worse. For good, best. For bad, worst. For superlative. Deceptions, there are a lot of exceptions. If you don't know them, I suggest you to look for them online. My students, they will have the list of exceptions adjective. I mean, the adjective that are except for these rules, that they will not be added er or est to their form like a suffix. They will not have that. So let me move on. No, let's move on together. So these are the exception, right? So if you know these rules, your spelling at the moment of compare will be brilliant. You won't have any problem. And how do you achieve this? Just reviewing these rules. And besides that, you will also need to read. If you read, you will be able to learn and understand how the rules works. Probably you will memorize them whenever as you read, all right? So let's continue. We will see the structure for comparative adjective. So please pay close attention to that. For the comparative adjective, it follows this: a noun, that's the person, country, language, animal, object we are talking about. The verb be that you need to master for this is in the singular statement, and adjective. So over here, the adjective plus the er structure that was explained before, spelling, and the word then, that means what or that for others. If you're learning the language, that means que. And noun, the other noun that we are comparing it with, the other noun that we're going comparing to the first one. So let me be a lot more clear. The structure for this is a noun, the verb be, the adjective, it can, and plus the spelling R, I-E-R, E-R, then the word then, plus the noun that we're going to compare with the first noun. So let's make this easier, or let's explain this. I am smart. You say I am smart for just saying that you're smart, right? But if you want to say that you're smarter than another person, you say I am smarter than Fred, or I am smarter than Mike, or I'm smarter than James. If you want to say the other way around, you can say Fred is smarter than I, or you can say Fred is smarter than I, or James is smarter than I. You can switch position if the other person is a lot more smarter than you. If you think so. If you don't think so, you can say I am smarter than Fred, or I am smarter than you. Second example, Melissa is braver than Fred. Melissa is braver than Mike. I apologize. Melissa is braver than Mike. So, brave means that you have courage. So, Melissa is braver than Mike. It can be the other way around. Mike is braver than Melissa. So now, Maria is older than James. Or it can be the other way around. James is older than Maria. Maria is older than James, or James is older than Maria. It can be all the way around. English is easier than French. And you think French is easier than English, you can have it that or that other way around. So next, I hope this one on top is clear, is completely clear. We just add the noun, the name of the person we're going to compare, the first person, and then the verb be that you need to master for this lesson, and the adjective, er, etc. And the adjective plus the comparative spelling, and then the word then, and the noun, the other nouns. So remember that whenever we have more than two syllables, we will only add the word more be behind the adjective, and we will follow the same structure. Carlos is more polite than Jessica. Melissa is more beautiful than Lisa. This book is more interesting than that one. French is more difficult than English. So that's how we're going to do it. If we want to say the other way around, remember you can do it. Jessica is more polite than Carlos. Lisa is more beautiful than Melissa. Well, in this case, in that book, it cannot be possible. You need to it can be that one is more interesting than this book can be. And over here, English is more difficult than French. So we can have this pattern. Right now it's going to start to rain. I hope it does not show up over there here on the screen. So we are going to see some examples. We have Barcelona is better than Real Madrid, or we can say Real Madrid is better than Barcelona. We have Flash and Sonic. Flash is faster than Sonic. You believe so? Flasher. Flash is faster than Sonic, or you can say Sonic is faster than Flash. We have Batman and Iron Man. So we have Batman is more intelligent than Iron Man, and Iron Man is more intelligent than Batman. You think that is all the way around. We have Coke and Pepsi. Coca-Cola is better than Pepsi, or you can say Pepsi is better than Coca-Cola. It depends on what you think. So I like this topic because you can put it all the way around. You think Marshmallow is more popular than Alan Walker, you can say, or you can say Alan Walker is more popular than Marshmallow. Can be that way. We have Naruto and Goku. Naruto is stronger than Goku, or you can say Goku is stronger than Naruto. You can do it that way around. So the structure for the superlative adjective is a little bit different. It requires a little bit more of common sense. So we have here is this structure is form of the subject, verb be, the adjective, the article da, then the adjective plus s, ist or est, the noun that must be related to the subject or the first noun over here, and then the complement that I call it that way. There are the additional information. So listen, so pay attention to this. The subject says, I am the smartest student in my class. Whenever you do this, you need to add a noun that identify the subject. For example, Melissa is a girl, right? So Melissa is the bravest girl I have ever met. You can say Melissa is the bravest person that I have ever met, or Melissa is the bravest student, teacher, principal, and president that I have ever met. Or you can say I have ever met. So over here you need to relate the noun over here with the subject, right, or the first noun. So Kani Tanaka is the oldest person in the world, and English is the easiest language to learn. So these are how this one works. Whenever we talk about the noun, I mean the same structure, but we are going to use the most because it has more than two syllables. We follow the same structure: noun, verb be, the most, the word and the article the, and then most, plus the adjective, and then noun and complement, right? Or the additional information. So we have Carlos is the most polite teacher in the school. So polite teacher, it can be the most polite person, a student, it can be a worker over there, it can be anything. So we have Thailand Blandu is the most beautiful woman in the world. So that means that she's the most beautiful woman in the world. It's the most. So it can be the most beautiful in the universe. I don't know, and but she's actually beautiful. I have researched about her, and I do that this sentence as well as Kani Tanaka based on real information, right? So you can see that you can do that as well. Chinese is the most difficult language to understand. Of course, it is if you don't speak the language, but if you speak the language, I'm sure that you will be able to understand that. So, Chinese is the most difficult language to understand. So remember, this structure we use the noun, verb be, and then the most, this expression based, let's say that is an expression, behind the adjective, and then comes a noun and additional information to make it clear, right? So let's see some examples. Who's flying? So let's see. So here we have Bart and Lisa. So let's say what it says. Lisa is the smartest girl in the Simpsons TV show. The smartest girl. I mean that she's smart, she's intelligent. We can also say Lisa is the most intelligent girl in the Simpsons TV show. We can also say that. Homer is the most hilarious character in Springfield. In Springfield, that's right. He's hilarious. He makes me laugh a lot. So let's see. Laugh. Yes. Sounds like love. Love. Alright. We'll figure out that later. So next, we have Bart. Bart is the best pranker in the school. And that is not a lie. He's the best pranker in the school. So we have the Simpson family. And we have Abraham, that is this guy over here, is the eldest in the Simpson family. We can say is the eldest person in the Simpsons family. Yeah. So it's important to detail whom are we talking about. For example, if we're talking about wallet, you can say that wallet is the most expensive thing that I have ever seen. Let's say. So you just need to add like a noun to that other first noun that you mentioned. That's how I do it, okay? to increase my vocabulary and to have more lexicon at the moment to talk, because whenever we talk with a native speaker of the language, we need to be descriptive. We need to provide a lot of examples or provide details so they can understand what are we trying to say. So we have here the Simpsons. Homer again is the funniest character in the Simpsons, and that is not a lie. Homer is the most funniest character in the Simpsons. So let's continue. We have the Simpson family, and we have over here. Oh my gosh, what's going on? Maggie is the most adorable baby girl in the Simpsons. Maggie is over here. Is here. She's adorable. She's cute. The most adorable person. If you were able to see over here, we were comparing with more than two syllables. So that's something that you have to keep in mind. If you're going to compare the superlative, they most of the time they have syllable more than three syllables in terms of the adjective, are the same as the comparative. So remember, if we have more than two syllables, we are going to use the most. And if it doesn't have, we just add the, and then we turn the adjective into superlative. Like an example, best is the superlative for good. Barry is the best pranker in the good in the school. So you just need to pay attention to those details. So here are the moment for questions. If you have any question, just type it below here this video. I will be more than glad to explain to you. There are a lot more examples of that. If you want to know more about this, just let me know. This is an interesting topic and definitely will help you out to talk with other people and talk about comparison. Just compare things, and that's great. That's what we actually do. That's what we actually do whenever we talk. But this is a period of time. There might be 5 minutes. If you have any question, you just raise your hand, turn on your microphone over there, and I will answer your questions. That will be just on a real class. As this is not a real class, I will not be able to answer any question, just on the comments below. So here I have the activities for my students, and you will need to have an orange and a purple pencil color. So in them, you are supposed to underline a paragraph I'm going to provide to you. You will underline with orange the comparative, and with purple the superlative, right? The superlative. This one over here. And then in activity 2, I'm just apologize about that. You will need a glue, a pair of scissors, and a piece of shit over there, a piece of shit. I'm sorry for the mispronunciation of this word. So once you have these three materials, you will cut some words that I'm going to provide to you, and then you will need to arrange them into, you will unscramble the sentence, you will cut the sentence, and you will scramble it, and then you will paste it back to the in another paper. I will give you these instructions in details whenever the class is taking place. I also have the Word documents and PowerPoints if you want it. And if you need it, please let me know. I will send it to you. I will send the information to my students so they can see this slide, and go over the lesson. The lesson is very interesting and interactive. So guys, thank you very much for watching. See you next time.